Hello, welcome to Schrodinger's audience. Because I mean, is this going to on live or not? I never can tell. It's always can I be bothered to do it as well? These are intersecting things. We're playing as part of the Open Hearth gaming community. There'll be links in the bios below. We've gone through our safety tools beforehand. Yeah, we've gone through our safety tools beforehand, and we've gone through the first stage of character generation in the game of the Scions, which is the thing I'm presently developing. It's a Paragon game, which is kind of do your own Horus Hersey at home. So we are playing in a grimdark future with grimdark with light notes. Our tonal elements are the third Riddick movie, the 1980s Dune, and the Olympian gods. So we're doing scale and grandeur and a certain elitism, but also a kind of like strong palette, epic sci-fi fantasy. That's our energy. I'm joined here with Jim T and sorry, I've just mixed. My finger's too small, so I keep on forgetting names.
K.
Sorry, the fact that the voice things, I don't see I lose people's real names off the side.
Oh, do you want me to swap it so it's the other way around?
If you could actually, or like just just put Aurelian and I can yeah. Sorry, when I my brain bounces around too much there. Anyway, okay. Like we'll get a proper introduction to their characters in the game in a minute, but I thought just briefly introduce yourself and introduce yourself briefly and tell me your favorite over-the-top science fiction thing in any medium. Jim, do you want to? Oh, your mouth is full. T. I'm
thanks. I was counting on that time to think about it. I'm T, she, her. I guess this is a visual thing. I really like it when you have a shot of just like empty space and then a bunch of ships show up. Fabulous.
Beautiful. Very hard to argue with. Okay, what about you?
This is gonna sound so silly. I love like bridge deck scenes where like you're clearly in a like enclosed ship, but there's this vast interior that you just loom over on this much smaller space, and I'm like, that's just a really viscerally pleasing image to me.
That's great. What about you, Jim? Hello, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not pandering, I swear, when I say Jack Kirby's New Gods, man, is like just the most bananas, bonkers, bugfuck insane, like space opera, like literal opera that you can get. So yeah,
that's fantastic. And I'm Kieron Gillen, hear him, and I like obviously I can't say 40k because that's literally what we're that's the major influence. I think that the biggest influence of 40k takes from is a comic called Nemesis the Warlock and the ABC Warriors, which is 2000 AD comic, early Kevin O'Neill art, and just berserk. It's just berserk, and it's kind of like everything that people like of Warhammer, but the dial's much higher. So like when I'm describing stuff in this game, I'm trying to reach after what those pages are, but there's some really good stuff there. Anywho, we reached the point of card generation when I'm gonna share the actual tab so people can see what's happening. Put the screen. Don't worry about my cards below. That's there's nothing secret down there. We basically get to pick what faction raised each one of our scions. So there are 6 factions which are like broad archetypes here, with the Terran Lords, who are vaguely the political force, the Collegia Psi, who are psychic space nun sort of structures, the Imperial Army, who are the Imperial Army, the Blade Guild, who are like the assassin stealth people, the Faith, who are the broad religion that holds the Empire together, and the Solar Fleet, who are the Solar Fleet. We get to define a lot of details on here, though there's a lot of stuff in the actual game. Like, if people kind of like, if you can choose which one you want to be and move it to the Empire bit, so it's actually down here. And then yeah, because the Empire, because everyone has a relationship with the actual faction they pick.
I'm waffling between the Solar Fleet and Imperial Army. I think either of those would make good sense for Solandris.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I would give you first bite, Jim, if you were like, no, I gotta be
Nope,
the Imperial Army.
Well, no, because like I am choosing between Collegia Psi and the Faith. So
yeah.
Right.
Worth knowing, after this, I get to pick one too. So like this is the arrangement of the game.
Oh man. Yeah, it's the Faith.
Nice. Put it down in the area that over here.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
yeah. So basically, everyone gets to share them. And what am I going to pick? I'm going to pick the Terran Lords because they're always good fun. That's great. And let me just arrange stuff around. Yeah.
Man, playingcards.io, so cool.
Yeah, honestly, it's just really nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is really like this stuff's made playing this a dream. Put 2 of your tokens on each of the on where you come from. These are called faction bonds, and they basically spend these to improve your dice. These are actually probably the most important assets you have to spend, and they represent your political standing with the organization. Fantastic. The Terran Lords, they are, of course, each of you were raised by the Faith, the Solar Fleet, and the Blade Guild, respectively. The Terran Lord raised the War Master, who is the best amongst you, the greatest of all the Scions. But we'll meet them eventually. Okay. Anyone who wants to do their character intro first? Because we now do a spotlight scene on each of you. But anyone want to jump on this?
We're all too polite.
Yeah. If not, I'll go right to left. I'll go Jim first.
Okay. So, is there setup, or am I just dive into it, or what?
I'm gonna set you up in a second.
Okay,
so I'll just
yeah.
close.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I'll just close the window to get the people back. Okay. The scene I kind of want to do is we are in we're in the Shadow Citadel, hidden between dimensions. We've got to basically imagine the shot going through multiple camera lenses until we kind of focus in on this space outside all normal vision. Then we zoom in, passing through the wall, and we see. So I need to get your character's name actually, and we see your character Jim, who is resting. Gives us the visual, shows what your character looks like.
I'm resting.
Yeah. What does resting mean to you?
Resting to me means there is we've got like a thing that looks like, like it's all kind of like this like dark red stone, right? Almost like marble with like black shot through it and everything, right? And it's this very kind of like it's all like cyclopean, right? Big blocks of stone and all like brutalist, angles and all this sort of stuff and everything. And there is a standing sarcophagus there with a kind of like blocky image of me like carved in the front of it, right? And that image of me looks like like a skull-faced person with like a cowl and, and a cape that kind of drops, and like through the gap in the cape, you can see they're holding kind of like the handle of a scythe comes up out of it and, kind of curves across the top of their head like that, right? Like this, like they're resting in it. And there is a row of there's like 66 monks to either side kind of leading up the steps.
Nice.
And they're all like, and they've got the same kind of cowls and their heads are down. and they're all chanting, right? You know, this kind of dirge-like chant. And you can see, like, the ones at the bottom look like they're in their, like, early 20s or something, right? And they get older and older and older as you go up. And the ones that are, like, right at the foot of my sarcophagus are, like, decrepit. You can barely hear their voices. They're almost falling over. But they're chanting as fervently as everybody else is. And that is, and, you know, and that the chanting kind of rises to you know, clearly like an agreed upon, you know, like it's kind of getting louder, and like their voices are getting higher, and then there's this kind of like keening note, and then that kind of trails off, and then it's like, you know, the sarcophagus kind of opens, and I'm, you know, doing one of these resting inside of it.
And that, perfect. I imagine the music swelling, but at this moment the music suddenly stops short,
yes.
And the oldest person right by you is moves with inhuman speed, as if they've been enchanted in an awful way, and is about to slam a long blade straight into you. How do you stop them?
My eyes flick to the others, and they just swarm him. Like the old guy, like, you know, like I said, there's kind of 2 rows of them, right? And that last one, as he raises the, you know, I just kind of flick my eyes to the other monk, and he just hurls himself in front of the blade, willingly, you know, taking it in the throat, as, you know, and as the others then just swarm on top of him and just start to literally just like tear him apart.
Yeah. You immediately, of course, you could suspect what's going on anyway. You're in the Blade Guild, an assassination attempt. It's kind of love language. You see the dagger, and the hilt clearly shows it's from Mistress Blade, who is the leader of the Blade Guild.
Yeah, and like we recruited these, like, these are orphans we take in as babies, and so he's waited, you know, a century to make this assassination attempt.
Yeah.
And that's actual effort. Usually they can't be fucked to, you know, put in that much effort.
You know,
they're more impatient than that. Yeah.
And that's how you can tell it's important. This is something Mistress Blade only uses important assassins for important methods. It's a way of communicating subtext. And as always with Mistress Blade, you see she communicates solely with engraved weapons. And the dagger, which was going to be plunged into you, has a writing on it, and it says, "The time has come. The Emperor is summoning you, summoning the Scions to begin the Great Crusade. You're ready, Zalazaz. You are the Empire's blade, and you will strike." What advice does Mistress Blade always give you?
The advice she always gives me, never turn away from your opponent's first blow, because that's how they betray their strength.
Yeah.
That if you can survive their first blow, they will always falter, hesitate, even if for a moment, because you withstood it. And that's the key to victory. It's not to throw up the best defense that you can. It's not to prevent these things from happening. It's to survive when they do, because they inevitably will. And it's futile to try and lock yourself away to prevent it.
It's kind of, remember, like, you've met Mistress. I mean, she tends to avoid people, but like she's this like a black void shape, hidden in cybernetics. She communicates with small gestures, very expressive, and weapons, as you say. And it's the only kindness you ever known, I guess. What does
maybe not kindness?
Sorry, kindness is the wrong word. Yeah.
Sincerity.
Yeah.
Like she said it and actually meant it. It was not like some game within a game within a game. This was like, this is actual advice, which she dispenses.
I say, like, I've got the image of saying, like, nothing is more sincere than murder. And,
yes.
And as practitioners of murder, we must be sincere in all things.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I guess that's the kind of the question I want to like question. What does she want? How does she see the Empire? What does she hate about the Empire? How does she think? What do you think should change?
She hates that the Emperor's goal is to rebuild what we had, rather than create something wholly new.
Yeah.
if no matter whatever tweaks you try and make to the system we used to have, if you're just rebuilding it, it's vulnerable in the same way, and only a fool would think otherwise. But you can't tell the Emperor that they're a fool.
Yeah. This is on your mind as a second assassin tries to go for you. You're too quick for this one. You get the blade and get it, and the blade's a simpler message: be ambitious, Salazars. At which point we're going to hard cut to either K or T's character. Any particular one? Oh, the blade. Oh my god, I've got it the wrong way around. I've just got it completely the wrong way around. So T has noticed in my head I've just done the Blade Guild rather than the Faith. And you were adopted by the Faith.
I was wondering about that, but I was like, I'm not going to interrupt.
This heat has broken me. I'll tell you what, in this universe, I'm going to have to work out another way of doing that round. I reckon we've got a blade.
I'm just going to pause and say, I have no problem if we want to retcon that whole thing and do it differently.
Yeah, I was saying T suggests the Church of the Blade. And I don't mind if the idea of murder is a religion.
Yeah, that's totally fine with me. Yeah.
Now I've got to flip it around to the Blade Guild to be or what happens there. We'll come back. So I'll chew the subtext there and work out a way to actually move.
I mean, the opposite of murder is dueling, right? Like openly challenging each other and having a fight where everybody can see, as opposed to trying to shank somebody.
Yeah, actually, we don't have an army, which is interesting. That we don't have an army is really interesting. I think I can build from this. Right.
Did we lose Jim again?
No, Jim's knocked out, but I think Jim has deliberately moved off to lost his visual. Yeah, he's still here. Right. Kay, you want to be the church, yes? Let me.
I was the assassins.
You were the Blade Guild.
Yes.
Excellent. Since I'm kind of rebooting them slightly, as in this is a murder church, is the kind of the way the church works. I was thinking the Blade Guild is a kind of like elite cavalier, like a cavalier's edge to an army. Does that make sense? As in, like, it's something slightly more than assassins. The idea of it certainly includes assassins, but like would also like the cutting edge of the Empire's melee combatants. Maybe does that make sense? I mean, something like that.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. The idea of like since we've only got Solar Fleet and no actual army, the idea that these are kind of the Blade Guild are expressly like force multiplying soldiers. And yeah, there can be assassins, but they're also charming and brilliant, and also as you are a great artist. You know, there's a kind of the beauty of battle. That's kind of what I'm heading towards. Is that interesting?
Yeah, sort of beauty of battle, bit of a incognito subterfuge kind of vibes.
Yeah. Like that whole area is them, as opposed to, you know, the. I guess violence is really important in this world. If the Blade Guild is if the church is a thing. Anyway, I think Kay, the image you've got is we start in deep space outside the solar system and we zoom in hard to an enormous ring in space. It's like a ring world. Yeah. Like this ring world around an orb, and it's the dueling circle. And across this, the Blade Guild has elite warriors performing like fencing rituals back and forth across the entire surface of this endless ring world. And Kay, this is where we meet Aurelian. What is Aurelian? What's the first visual of Aurelian? What are they doing? What does it look like?
I think he's taking part in one of these battles.
Yeah. That's great. Do you want to give me the visual? How does Kay fight?
Yeah. So I think we see Aurelian, and there's this sort of, this sonic thing as he's in place and he's got this weapon, and we see sort of like this shockwave of this golden lyres goes through, and he is just on a whole other level than the others. Like he's just cut, like there's a line waiting essentially to be cut down by him.
Nice.
The other fighters, seem to be equally matched, but the fact that he's taking part is kind of just like sacrificial. And we watch as these sound waves sort of come and they cut and they slash into bodies that just fall down to mound on top of each other. And we watch as someone comes up that looks a little different. Perhaps they look a little more storied. Their outfit has more pins and stripes, and there's a step forward that Aurelian takes, and they turn the lyre around and hook it behind this person's neck and use it to slice through instead of using the sonic nature, giving a sort of more physical, reverential death to this one person.
I imagine like that's beautifully done, and as everything you do is performance in this kind of way. And there's applause. There's polite applause from the people waiting in the queue to die next, because they're very impressed. You hear a voice rumbling from beneath you. Well struck, Aurelian. Perfection, some would say. At which point we pull back and we realise that you're standing on the ring, but like you're actually on the back of an enormous church tank. Like it's a dueling circle. And it's basically, imagine like a tank the size of a warehouse, except it's also a church. And this is the Anchorite. The Anchorite is the leader of the Blade Guild, an enormous, like, grown body inside these metallic walls, metallic and stone walls. And these are the leader of the Blade Guild. They're utterly immobile, but they are naturally a living dueling arena. And they enjoy making conversation, or it's talking to you. And once upon a time, in the 3 empires ago, they were once a duelists, but now their life is stretched out infinitely and growing ever bigger because they can never die in this way. What did and of course you've been raised by the Anchorite. I've got the image of that. What does the Anchorite think your flaw is?
I think they think I'm short-sighted.
Ooh, interesting. As a image of the Anchorite's voice rumbling from beneath you, as you know, as always, in any one duel, you will win. I sometimes think you see the world as a long queue of people waiting to fight you, but there is more than that. And the Blade Guild, as much as we love the duel, there is this question of scale. But your time has come, Aurelian. It is time for you to fight on the biggest arena the world has ever known. The Emperor has called you.
Of course he has.
Of course he has. And it chuckles, and let's see this huge the tank rumbles beneath your feet as it's chuckling proudly. What do you think what has the Anchorite told you in terms of like what they hope for the galaxy? What do they actually want?
I think they've told me they want it to be more beautiful. As we talked about, there's so many things that are just viscerally unappealing in this world. Yeah. And what's the point of going on forever and having all of this if it's not fun to look at?
Yeah, I think, and the Anchorite speaks. I know you think me an old fool, but I've lived in previous empires and we built such wonderful things. We could not build a dueling circle like this now. The mere idea of stretching an arena around a planet is beyond our sight, especially a beautiful one. I think the solar fleet simply do not understand, and the church are nothing but murderers. But you, Aurelian, you're an aspect in a universe, and I have such hopes for you. You go, I could not be prouder. I've never seen anyone walk like you.
There's just this really self-satisfied sort of tugging up of lips as he reaches down and scoops 2 fingers against this just rivulets of blood that are from these fallen bodies and kind of pushes them along the sort of long track to make it go further and says, we'll restain this universe into something better.
Excellent. And I can imagine you two, the pleasurable laugh rumbling beneath you. At which point we cut away to Salandras. I need to get this setup on the screen sorted. Okay, Salandris, your opening image. I think we started another far out shot. And we zoom in, and for a second it looks like an asteroid belt. But then we realise it's actually a fleet waiting in so can we rewind that? Zoom in, and this what looks like an asteroid field is suddenly revealed to be a fleet hiding. We zoom closer to this enormous flagship, capable of traversing the warps that between galaxies have kept the Empire apart. And on its surface of this huge hull is Salandros. Can you tell me what it looks like?
Yeah. It's very easy to see Salandros because Salandros is bright, gleaming, light gold, involute, and is striding along the is this a deck or is this like
I mean the outside of
yeah.
of the ship in a moment of supernatural,
Yeah. Okay, good. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Yeah, and is striding along the hull, and needs to keep striding because every footstep slightly melts and dints the hull behind Salandros.
Perfect.
With the heat they're passing.
Which point you get to the docking, the docking bay, the airlock slides behind you, and slides open. And revealing, sitting there, is Admiral Raven. Admiral Raven is the highest person in the fleet. She is. Her life has been extended by anti-aging drugs, but she's still ancient beyond imagining. This kind of wisp-like old bird of a woman. She leans into the name. She sits in what appears to be, imagine like a wicker chair, but made of metal. Wires connected, and she's connected to the ceiling of the hull by this a hook, basically, and she can move around the ship, being dragged around like something out of Brazil, flying from either side. And she's come here. She has raised you. She sits there in the chair with a long cigarette holder, kind of like a Greta Garbo as a space admiral. She goes, Salandros, I wish you walked quicker. It's a terrible mess to actually keep the ships finished.
And Salandros just smiles. This is an argument they've had many times.
Yes. What from her sense of humor has imprinted upon? What does she find funny that Salandros also finds funny?
I think there's I think they're both something of pranksters. And I think a lot of them involve spacing people. I think that they are in moments of repose and ease.
I can imagine sort of punch. It's like, whee! Oh,
listen, it's funny every time.
Yeah, honestly, I've got the image of a single short flashback of you and Admiral Raven sitting and just going, "You got a promotion!" Click to someone, they get shoved into space. You should have seen their face. Oh my dear Salandros, the time we have. And they say, please walk with me, or rather, please, I won't make you wear the asbestos slippers, but please walk with me. We have important things to discuss.
Salandros falls in.
And as you're moving around the ship, you can see everything's efficiently behind you. You got like the rights, the technicians immediately going and actually filling in the holes, starting to fill in, doing the repairs, moving around you like ants. And she kind of bobs around beside you. It's on. The Emperor's decided to start this little endeavor of ours. The reconquering of the galaxy will begin, by which I mean we are going to work and have a lot of other people bullying us, or at least trying to.
I'd like to see them try.
I would love to see them try, Salandros, my dear. It's kind of like, here's a good question. Why do they look at suspicion and fear at the rest of this? Why doesn't Admiral Raven? Why does Admiral Raven worry about the other Scions?
I wonder if there's a little bit of a kind of a landlubber. They haven't seen what we've seen. They, don't know what it's like to truly live in space and be a spacer and travel all the time. Because we, during our setup, we established that we used to be able to warp and then we couldn't for a very long time.
Yeah.
And of course, we're the new guard. We understand, and they are locked in the past and slow.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, that's like, imagine you drinking fine wines and discussing it late at night with Raven. And it's like this sort of Raven. It kind of picks up the conversation where our beating goes. They are, what do you say, landlubbers and firmly limited. And the Blade, the Blade Guild King thinks wars are about, pretty moves, delicateness. The Murder Guild, a bunch of fanatics. They would kill stars without purpose. Conversely, we are practical people of the world, and we make the world what we can, and we must try to survive as best we can, no matter how annoying they are. But still, it's we don't need to worry about your fiery temper, of course. I make the image of the fire burning around you at this particular moment. You'll do fine. You're Wanda Solandris.
And I think Solandris just sort of grins and says, I know. And Solandris' corona sort of flares for a moment, and whoever's standing nearest gets singed.
Yeah, I got the image of okay, one of the techs behind you starts running, and it's and Admiral just please don't stand too close to Solandris. Will you ever learn? Never. I'm sorry, Solandris. You can't get the help. If you see if you can arrange to get some help sent, we'd appreciate it. Anyway, get to your ship. Things are afoot. On which point I think we'll hard cut to introducing you getting on the ship first. You get to pick your as you kind of head you boarding your ship, you get to define your flagship. Here's 3 options, but whatever you want. Is it an elegant machine like a Razor in space, a hulking transport vessel overloaded with bombs, a steroidal church with missile launchers instead of organs, or something else?
Yeah, I think it's fucking fast, sleek, obviously gold. And I think it's Solandris' flagship. I think Solandris powers it. I think Solandris steps into the core and all of the systems boot up. Yeah, we warp.
Yeah. As you aboard the ship, as your kind of your the blinding suns surround you and kind of go to work, as you zoom out, you realize you're heading back to Terra, you're heading back to Earth, and you should see the War Master. Think about the War Master. What about his appearance reminds people of the Emperor? We know the Emperor he reeks of the grave, he emits scorching heat like you, he has a choir-like voice. But why does he resemble the War Master?
Oh, I think the War Master is like a head taller than all of the rest of the Scions.
Nice. He's a giant.
Literally looks down on us.
Yeah. That's metaphorically and literally. Oh, sorry. We're going to move back to Aurelian. Aurelian, you're boarding your ship. Do you want the options again, or do you want to just have you able to riff one?
Yeah, I think I'll riff one. I think it is colossal. It is white marble. It is beauty. There is nothing subtle about this ship. It is an announcement when it arrives.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Actually, kind of what's your bridge like? How do you think you sit?
Oh, I think he's sitting in just this almost mockery of a golden throne that is particularly a pinch hit at Solandros. It's the same hue, and it even has a brazier towards the base that warms it, so it's an optimal temperature.
Nice. That's also I want to set a scene here with Solandris just growling. Okay. Be fantastic. You're going to see the War Master again. Why is the War Master best amongst you? Or why do you think the War Master is best amongst you?
Why is the War Master best amongst us? I think he's had the most experience. He's gotten the most opportunities. It's not that that, you know, what he is, just he's had the most opportunities to work at things. Now, if, you know, if we leveled that playing field, you know, if I'd had as many opportunities as he had, I'd be far greater.
Yeah, I like that he was found first or made first. Just give him.
Yeah,
So it's unfair, you know. Like there's an
he's
I
oldest.
completely get that. Yeah. You'll prove it. In which case, okay, we'll go over to Zalazaz. Tell me about. Give me Zalazaz's boarding. What's your ship like?
My ship is the colossal corpse of a dead space god.
Of course it is. What you know? Any other details you want to add to that?
Yeah, like it's been like it looks like it because of all the tech we've added to it. It makes it look like it was once a cyborg. It's hard to tell what is and isn't like original and kind of like necrotech that we've added to it. But it, yeah, you know, it is kind of vaguely humanoid in a, you know, it's human shaped with a vaguely human looking face.
Yeah.
You know, the eyes, you know, are empty, but there's like, you know, like some kind of like glass across them. And so the, you know, the command deck is inside the skull, and I can literally look out at the stars through the eyes.
Yeah, I look out for the. I mean, I live in the skull of a dead space god. That's the most metal sentence in a while. Nice work. But as you're in there, you're heading towards Terra, and you realise you think about the War Master. You've always feared the War Master. Why?
Because it's obvious the Emperor actually loves him.
Ooh. How can we tell that he loves the Emperor more? Look, how can we tell the Emperor loves the War Master and more than you?
The War Master is the only one that is allowed to call the Emperor by his name, his given name.
Cool.
Anybody else that's like instant execution, you know, by terrible means. The War Master is the only one that he allows to, you know, to call him by his given name.
Have we got a name for the Emperor? I know we're asking multiple. This seems to be a useful thing to dig into.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it should be like either biblical or Roman somehow,
Yeah.
you know, like Enochian or something like that. That's you know.
Enochians are pretty. Actually, just get Enoch or Enochian. Enochian's good. Especially Enoch's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking about Enochian angels recently for various reasons.
There we go.
So
yeah. Okay.
You know, you are kind of
Excellent.
angels in your own way.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right, we got the visual. All you jumping up to hyperspace. Not hyperspace. Entering the travel between stars we have here. The solar fleet and all the psionics have cleared the way, and you're back around Terra. At this point, you've got something of a bonus. If you go back to your sheet, the board, you get 2 bonds with any other faction. So sorry, you have 2 bonds to distribute between any other faction. So in other words, which factions do you think sound interesting? Give them bonds. And this is like previous. You may never have any more than 2 bonds with any one faction. The Trevor laws, just to give a bit more detail, they are kind of ordering bond. They've got a kind of the planetary system called the assembly. So basically got an entire solar system that is basically just a series of buildings interspersed around it, and they speak for something called the assembly, which is a robot which you'll meet soon enough, I'm sure. Right, has everyone put them down?
No, I'm thinking because it sounds like Aurelius and Salandris have a little bit of a history.
Yeah. We'll get to. There's player bonds to come as well. So. Cool. If you're wondering why we've got a shot from Excalibur in the background, it's because when I still paid for the full version of StreamYard, I had that as a background for us playing Mythic Bastion Land, and then I don't pay for full price version anymore, so you can't change it after you've stopped. So now we're locked in Excalibur forever. This is where we are, guys. Right. We can dive back in at the ship. All 3 ships arrive simultaneously, as if organized, on Terra, as if there's a plan in action. Terra is completely this gold-plated planet, the heart of this empire. The head of the emperor himself is used as the model for the central palace. It's like a Mount Everest style head that merges out this building out of the planet itself, made of gold and steel. You can see its sort of deathly appearance, the heat kind of radiating it from like the man inside. All three of the ships enter through the iris of the eye and land together. And you all leave the ship simultaneously. You notice something: the War Master's not here yet. But as you come down the ramps, you'll make eye contact. You know, across the huge distance in this impossibly big building. And you look and you remember your shared time together. I'm going to say, T, I'm going to jump on you first, if that's okay. Slandrus, you were once in real desperate trouble. Like, I'm going to give you a... Okay, was this desperate trouble? You were shipwrecked on a feral sentient asteroid. You were ambushed by shark pirates in the solar void. You're holding a siege on Cadia, outgunned by another demonic incursion. About to be executed for a minor social faux pas in a first contact event, or something else of mortal terror. Like, say which it is, and or add your own details and add more colour to that. How badly you were in the mess? Describe it.
Yeah, I think it's the siege, because I imagine the solar fleet is often sort of at the bleeding edge. I think we overextended. A little hubris, perhaps, from from Slandrus, thinking, Slandrus could take this whole planet. Why not? And it turns out the why not is because they had basically infinite supplies and also their own deals with entities.
So we got an awful battle of entities from the beyond the stars, and Slandrus facing their death. Luckily, however, Zalazaz was able to come in and save the day. Zalazaz, how did you help? How, in this case, did you save Slandrus?
And like fleets overextended and all that kind of stuff and everything. Yeah, I feel like I want there to be like we managed to like with I think I I did like a mimetic thing. Like I introduced a corrupted version of their own religion into the fleet, and it just spread like wildfire through the fleet and caused so much chaos that they were able to turn the tide.
Brilliant. But just change their brain programming, they fall apart. Amazing. The day was saved. Hooray! But then, of course, Aurelian, you planned a grand celebration to commemorate this momentous event. What was the celebration? Was it a grand parade of all the legions across the surface of Terra? A gathering across a war zone where they could sip fine spirits and watch the orbital bombardment in your Scion's honour? An orgiastic gathering of their closest 5,000 or 6,000 friends and their lovers? A surprise new performance on Theatricus of a psychic play, elaborating upon the story of the two Scions brushed with death? Or something else suitably epic?
Yeah, I think it's operatic. Yeah, it's definitely the play. It's definitely and it's definitely tongue-in-cheek. As we've mentioned before, Aurelian likes to needle Solaris. So yeah, I think it was this giant attendance of this operatic whole thing set up. And it is absolute luxury. Like, there is wine, there is people feeding you grapes, there is all this, and it's dead silent otherwise.
That's really interesting. I'm interested. Like, we've done all the bonds here. Like, since there's a number of players, we could stop here. But there's some optional questions of what happened at the party and how everyone remember what you did. Are people interested in deciding what they did at the party? Because it's another checklist.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Everyone did. This is a big party. This silent party with incredible opulence in memory of this great victory. It kind of got a bit hairy. Like, what do people always mock you or remember about? Did you win a plasma? Did you win a plasma lance competition, despite the fact there were no plasma lance competition planned? Did you imbue so many hallucinogenic toxins your ramblings created a whole new school of philosophy? Did you start a fight with another scion and lost badly? Did you dance with alien royalty so well you provoked a war? Or something else that people will make cracks about to this day? Anyone got to jump in and appeal? T?
I think.
Oh no, Kay, since you were speaking, you can jump in. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I just realised I should have addressed it to somebody.
I like the war. I think, yeah, that feels very Aurelian. He essentially had this whole background and the play and this enforced silence, but it allowed communication of bodies that maybe got a little too friendly.
Oh dear, and a war.
And a war.
Like, is it with an alien? So, is it with an alien species or like something like?
Yeah, I think it is the predecessor to that previous planet, the one that that Solaris fought. It was their backer originally.
Oh yeah, like the backers, the people who lost the war, basically. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, who'd lost the war.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. And another, I do like the fact that we win a war, immediately lead into another war, and that's the kind of Pyrrhic nonsense we're very much here for. T, Jim, have either of you got a desire to do something at the party?
Yeah, I think I've got something, which is that Zalalaz's whole like goth leather cloak cowl thing started a fashion craze through the Empire that resulted in like in like a kind of like sneakerhead crossed with tulip mania sort of a thing for like the black leather cloaks that, like just went completely out of control and, caused, ruinous financial, repercussions like throughout the whole empire.
Yeah. I can imagine. Is that craze died out now? Or is that,
Well, it's one of these things where like it will flare up and like they'll execute people to keep it from getting out of control again. And so then it'll become like like it'll become a like it does that thing where it like
flares.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah.
Flares with executions.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Also, it's like Julius Caesar had very War's toga in a new way that everyone else ripped off.
Yep.
I think this is very appropriate. T, you got anything else you want to do at this party which has provoked a war and also a fashion craze?
Yeah, I think Solandris lost a bet. It's got to be something to do with like physical prowess, right?
With the War Master, maybe? I think that's something.
Yes, absolutely, to the War Master. Maybe it was like we're doing sort of a Greek god motif, like a shot put thing.
I love it.
Solandris was like, I can absolutely throw this further, and Solandris could not. And I'll let you decide what the forfeit was.
Ooh, I feel like, can I just say, you always have to kneel when you see them. When you first see them, the first thing you do is kneel.
Solandris doesn't like that, and neither does whoever is trying to maintain these floors.
Oh my god, yeah. I genuinely want to do an entire game about people trying to sweep up after you. Brilliant. Well, that was a memorable party. So there's a look at all the memory, and there's a memory of like, is Salazar still wearing those cloaks kind of stuff? The Warmaster not being here, it means you don't, at least you have to bow. Right, now everybody takes bonds with each other. The way bonds works is slightly different. You take the color of the scion you're having a bond with, and you put it on your sheet. So if you're having a bond with Salandris, you would take a red token and put it on your character. You get 2 bonds with each of the scions. In reality, you get a total of 4 bonds divided among the scions however you wish, but in this case, you have and a maximum of 2. In this case, you don't. Cool. In this game, this is a bond. Basically, you spend a bond for various things. One of them is you add their name dice to the challenge. You can also stop you getting hurt. The other thing to remember about bonds is they are not necessarily positive relationships. As in, like, it's how does the memory or hatred of somebody encourage you to do something. So it's that's something that tends to happen the more you play the game, as in the more it becomes about bitterness rather than camaraderie. But like that's just to basically, because most games do bonds as positive things. Well, this is much more either way. Right. Okay. Right. We're going to set up the situation where you arrive. Basically, you're all the Warmaster isn't here yet. You arrive into the central, walking from the eye to a military parade to the enormous cranial space, and you're in this kind of like, it's the Church of the Emperor. I mean, murder is the real religion of the Empire, as of course the Church knows. But this is the heart of it. The heart of this is the mind that guides the hands. And all the armies march in. The Terran Lords come in on different floating pads above the battlefield and sweeping up to a central throne in burnished gold, radiating heat, is the Emperor himself, Enoch, though you could not dare say that name. He's taller than any of you, taller than even perhaps the Warmaster. He wears he's the reek of death, and it smells like burning bodies because he's hot as well. It's that awful. He's like you made deals with infernal beings beyond time and space. He kind of has that energy to him, like a demon on Earth, except obviously beatific and beautiful beyond all measures. And finally, when he speaks in a choir of voices, like perfectly harmonized, as if all the voices in hell were basically trained to sing in harmony. And the Emperor speaks. My children, you have come. You are dutiful and powerful. We will carve a new empire. We have gained power, and we must use it to gain what we wish. The Empire must be. We may not be eternal, but the Empire must be. Before the debts are settled, the Empire will be ours. We have planned for this, but I see that amongst us, a brother is missing. So we must wait. And he sits down, clearly not pleased. And the seconds. Anyone want to say anything to anyone else? You can do it psychically, by the way, because you, of course, are all psychic. In which case, the silent. Oh, sorry, Tay.
I think the other two here, Salandris, perhaps it's time for a new golden child.
And then you hear a little voice in your head, the snort of the huge body in that kind of plea. I think you might be right. And then suddenly the Warmaster enters at the head of his troops. His legion are called the Warmasters. Or the Masters of War, actually. Let's keep this simple. The Masters of War follow him. All the members of the Master of War are at least as tall as the other Scions. These are big and brutal with heavy armor. They march in. And take their position in front of the throne. The Emperor speaks. My child, are you done? And the Warmaster looks up and says simply, "No, Enoch, you are done." And he just raises his hands, and the throne explodes outwards. The Emperor is incinerated in a abyss of divine energy. This is like the opposite of hellfire. So the hell energy is the Emperor as nothing, and it bursts by enormous holes straight down into the earth, out the side of the planet, and up into orbit. Imagine the shot we get is from orbit, pulled out, of seeing the Emperor taken into pieces and separated. And the War Master then turns and says, "There is a new Emperor, and this, there is a new Emperor, and it is me. And we will, and we'll make the future out of a pile of bodies here, my War Masters." And they move in, and suddenly they start killing everybody there. At which point the Emperor's been successfully assassinated, and we'll take our second break, I think. New card on the board.
Dun dun dun. I mean, new Emperor. Conveniently, Solaris was already kneeling.
Yeah, it's like interesting idea you had.
Oh man, yeah. Until I think the murders fell upon all of us, I imagine that Aurelian was probably clapping, because what a beautiful spectacle.
Yeah. I say this is theatre. This is grand theatre on a high stage.
Great.
Okay. And now 2 hours is the game. We're going to get to a mechanic. Right. As you see, I've just put a card in the middle of the play area, which is this is what dice pools look like in this game. The way this works is I'll end up describing a situation. I'm called the Chaos Player, by the way. I describe the situation, what's going on. I will roll some dice and give you a number. If you beat my number, you would defeat the challenge. If you fail to beat that number, you don't. And that's on the individual level. So if any of you roll high, sorry, if any of you roll higher than the target, equal or higher to the target, you succeed in the challenge. And the person who rolls highest is quote unquote best, and they get to describe how the challenge ends. The way the actual narration works is you start at the bottom, the person who rolls worst narrates, then the person who rolls, and so on ascending. I can chip in a bit as well. I sort of normally rephrase the situation. And that's the basic structure of the game. And you have pretty much complete narrative authority in that area, as in terms of how it goes. Before going to mechanics, also I will encourage the, failure doesn't mean failure. It means not success. That kind of, you're still incredibly powerful scions. You could, murder 1,000 people and fail in your task. So this is not a game where falling down the stairs is in any way encouraged. Unless you throw people down the stairs, that pretty much is encouraged. This is how you build. I'll say a number you've got to beat. I assemble a dice pool based upon my assets. Roll it, give you the number. The way you assemble yours is, you always get your name, which is everyone's case is a D6. You always get your legend, which in this case is still a D6, and then you get one of the domains, which is the domain relevant to the challenge. In this case, you get to pick your domain. So, which in other words, however you're going to deal with this challenge, you pick your domain. Then it's the question if you can spend assets, or it's not assets, or you spend bonds. The bonds are all the stuff on the sheet. If you spend a bond with another scion, you get their name dice. If you spend a bond with yourself, as in the one that was called Strategic Mastery, you add a D10. And if you spend a bond with a faction, you add a D4. The D4 counts differently. I'll get back to that in a minute. The other key thing to do is you don't need to narrate anything. Or in fact, you're actively discouraged from narrating before the dice roll is. You don't need to justify what you're using the Blade Guild. If you're using a bond, you don't justify that until you narrate. The reason for that is, since you're narrating with complete authority in ascending order, if you narrate before authority is determined, it's possible you might step on something. In reality, players almost always do so. I will try to, the traditional structure of it is you allude to what dice you're adding, but I especially think early on in Paragon, I really just say, let's talk about what dice you're doing, and then we'll re-establish the scene. The other way you can add dice to the dice pool is something called channeling in this game. If you look on the sheet, you've got something called pain. which is agony and corruption. If you tick a pain box, you get to add another domain of your choice. So, in other words, if you want to add, you know, this is normally useful if that kind of, if it's say a war challenge and you want to add your cunning dice as well, you channel, tick a pain box. You can also add that extra D8. To talk mechanics for a second, if you see the corruption, which is at the end of pain, pain goes into corruption. Every time you hit a coloured bar in corruption, you get a level. So like you can level up by completing missions. I'll go into that eventually. But you can also level up by taking damage. So there's that thing. There's a lot to take in there. It's one of these things where basically it is abstractly simple enough when people get it, they can just assemble things. Until then, it's not, and that's fine. It'll grind a little, and then it'll hopefully click. To give you some vague statistics, a pretty acceptable roll for the Chaos player is a 10. So in other words, your reality, you're trying to create a, you know, so to beat 10, you've got to roll 10. You need to roll. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to give the most important roll. The way your dice pool is assembled and calculated is the 2 highest dice in your dice pool. So in other words, if you're on a 10, a 7, and a 6, your total is 17. You know, the rest of the dice don't matter. Does that make sense? Right. D4 works slightly different. The way D4 works is D4 adds to your total at the end. So in other words, the 2 highest of any other dice plus your highest D4. So with D4 are very powerful because they're the way you can guarantee, the only way you can guarantee getting higher than your top 2. Clearly, people probably won't understand all of that or even any of it. Is there any basic things you're not vibing on?
Spending bonds is like you spend it, right? Like once you use it, the currency goes away until you refresh it somehow, or do you ever refresh it?
Basically. So if you move a bond, you just add it to your total and you add that dice to your pool. There's various ways of gaining bonds with everyone else throughout the game. They don't. I'm trying to give you a kind of like how rare they are. Faction bonds are probably the hardest, probably the most useful to have, and also the hardest to regain. So being cautious of your faction bonds is the thing I advise. But they're also like you get bonds by completing missions, as in later in the game you actually go through a series of missions. You get bonds by completing submissions with I think a faction tells you to do something. You also get bonds by helping your allies, as in other Scions, instead of actually being in a combat. You also get bonds in downtime. So every 3 turns, quotation marks, and then we have a downtime, which is 3 seasons of war and a season of rest. So you get 3 bonds around then. And the other final kind of overlaying thing about this game, the game is about accumulating glory. The person with the highest glory is the most glorious person in the entire game. The amount of glory you get is the whatever the Chaos player rolls. If you beat it and you're the best, you get that amount of glory. If you beat the score but aren't the best, you get half that glory. If you fail to beat that glory, you get 1 glory point. So you always get some glory. So yeah, in the long term, getting as much glory as you can is literally the game. And that's why your characters probably are really angry and jealous at each other. Okay. I'm going to assemble my dice pool and give you some fiction, unless anyone's got any more questions.
Just one more quick question. I'm so sorry. Yeah. What happens when you fill the corruption track?
Oh yeah, it's important. You die. Yeah.
Okay.
Like that's how you leave the narrative. You can. If we get to the death mechanics, we'll playtest it. Basically, there's you actually become a fallen Scion in that game, so you become a villain in the game, but you kind of become a new Scion. You can carry on playing, but obviously at a drawback because you're new. So yeah, so you're basically quite safe until you're not. Is the way the game is. The way corruption, if you want to like in world how the actual corruption versus pain works, probably anyone else would die when you hit any corruption. Like but basic corruption is you holding your body together with your psionic powers because you're that powerful. Unfortunately, that also means that you are, in our case, tackling infernal energy, so you're kind of becoming more demonic. It's also every kind of time you level up from corruption, you also get to transform your body somehow, so you get increasingly fucked up and interesting.
just to clarify a little further, it sounds like there technically isn't a refresh. When you spend it, but you can gain more.
Yeah. It's not a refresh. It's a resource. It's the best way of putting it. You know, kind of quite a lot of the game is you gain, for example. We'll be introduced to concepts of like other ways to get bonds shortly. Basically, the whole kind of like first session is pretty much introducing stuff piecemeal. So like other bonds and other sources of bonds will be introduced shortly. But yes. Also, like it's this special first encounters are pretty like low stakes. Is the way of putting it. I mean, obviously it's high drama, but it's the kind of the fallout if it goes completely wrong is low. Okay, I'll show you how I assemble my dice pool. Warmaster, assassination, D8. Okay, great. I take a D8. Perfect timing, great betrayer. I would add those assets if they apply to the challenge. In this case, they definitely do. So I roll D8, D6, and E6. By the way, I forgot to say, my dice rolling. I did a new dice roller instead of the one I linked in the chat. I realized that was a friend's one, so I probably shouldn't just use theirs.
Oh, yep. That's helpful to know. All right.
Yeah.
So in this case, we'd be trying to beat a 16 because.
No! I've got to roll first. Oh no! In the case of that's the previous Chaos player. This is the one. This is a complicated. I haven't actually said this because this is a bit where the game gets complicated. The Chaos player calculates their dice pool in a different way. Like you were the best 2, and mine is the best 1 plus a number, and the number is stacked. So in other words, like the map is slightly different for me than you, which makes it likely you will win. At the start of the game, it's whatever my best dice is plus 4. Then it's later on it's plus 5, and at the end game it's plus 6. Let me just roll see what I got. Please roll. Okay, that's pretty good actually for them. Okay, my total is 12. No, 11 because it's the plus 4. So you have to beat 11. Right. Let me actually re-establish the fiction. What the challenge is. The Emperor's just been assassinated. His body spread the entire distance of the planet. The Masters of War, led by the War Master, and I'm going to change that name because it's stupid. The War Master and their Legion are engaging. They're trying to kill everything. This appears to be a mission to wipe out all the Lords of Terror and anyone else here. Flamers burn, attacks going. It's like, can anyone stop them and get revenge on and kill the War Master for his awful crime? That's the challenge. The challenge is you get to kill the War Master and to stop this any way you want. Who will face this challenge? I would normally say who would face a challenge of war or cunning, depending what it is. In this case, you can choose what domain you are. So everyone have a second, and we'll talk through your dice pools. And Jim, you're most confident with the system. Do you want to talk through your dice pool first? What you're thinking?
I will accept this wildcard challenge.
Excellent. Accept this fill-in later challenge.
Yes, yeah. So let's go through my dice pool. So this this may take a second. Pardon me, because I'm gonna have to flip back and forth between the sheet and the dice roller here. So, all right. I've got I have my name die, which is Zalalaz. I'm gonna take a D6 for that.
You always get your name.
My legend, which is Faustian, I'm gonna take a D6 for that.
You always get that.
Yeah, everybody knows I'm all about making bad deals with things that can give me power. All right. And then obviously I'm going to use my cunning to get me out of this. So I'm going to take a D8 there.
Cool. And that's the standard dice everyone gets for free.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you just your next? Actually, do you mind if I just walk through each kind of?
Yeah, please. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Next normal decision is: do you want to channel and spend a pain to get an extra dice?
100%. Yeah. This feels like a time to get some pain.
Right. So you take a pain, and what other box are you adding? Sorry. Domain.
And it's a different domain. This is unnatural. The death of there could be nothing more unnatural than the death of the Emperor and
proper magic
whatever it is they've got happening here. Yeah. So
so currently you got 3d6 and a d8.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there any other bonds you would like to spend?
I think I am going to spend my bond. I'm going to spend a Salandros bond here.
Great. That adds. So you remove the bond from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Give that Slandris, and you add another d6 because that's Slandris' name.
Okay, so
So it's on your. It's like the one's on your sheet, yeah.
Yep. And Salandros is red. Okay, so I'm going to take
I'm
that.
at the top.
And I just drop it back into the pile up top there.
That's great.
Okay, there we go.
Cool.
Done and done.
That's
and
46
add another,
D8.
and that's another D6, right? Or D8?
Yeah. D6.
D6?
Yeah.
Okay. D6. Bingo. All right. And that's everything?
Actually, if you wanted, you can add another bond. But if you want, the only bond you might be thinking about is a faction bond, which would add a D4. In other words, instead of being that would be on top of the two highest as well as, so that changes the odds significantly.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like, are you in it to win it, or are you in it to sort of maybe scrape by? I guess that's the thing.
I just want to. I think for this, I just want to survive. So I'll save. I'll save the big guns for later. Like yeah.
Okay. Look, who would like TK? Either you want to jump in, and we'll go through your dice next, or rather, you can try. You can try explaining it back and make sure if you want to. Okay, go.
I think I'm ready. All right. So, D6 name, D6 legend, Salandris, Radiant. You know about Salandris. Everybody knows about Salandris. This feels like war. Salandris is coming out swinging, so D8 for that.
Cool.
I am going to take a pain to add unnatural as a second domain. I'm going to spend my bond with Azazel, who is directly underneath me. No, I spend it from my card.
Yeah.
Yes, card. Green. Yes. Okay, so got it.
This is weird. This is more intuitive in the flesh than it can be confusing online, but it's more intuitive in the flesh because you've got your stuff near you.
Yeah. And Salandris is done kneeling to the War Master, however he's styling himself, and so is going to spend bond with the Blade Guild for additional.
And you add a D4. That's good.
So it should be 4d6, a d8, and a d4 if I am good at counting.
So same as Jim, but an extra D4.
Yep.
And Kay.
Yeah, I think. Aurelian's going to play this one, I think, maybe a little more close to just. I will spend a pain.
Cool.
And I will throw my cunning in on this with my. So I have my name, Aurelian Rex, D6, smooth, D6, unnatural, D8, and I'll throw in my D6 cunning in this. Right. And I'm just going to keep it at that.
That's reasonable. Yeah. It's definitely early on. Worth noting, I haven't explained how to help yet either, which is not something we'll get to that in a minute because it's just an extra thing. But at some point, you can decide to set out the challenge and help. And the other thing, you can choose just not to do the challenge. That's always an option. Of course, you don't get any glory, but there's always the option to go, oh no. But okay, now everyone has a dice pool. So the way that would normally work is I would set that challenge. People would say, yes, I will face the challenge. Possibly say something about the dice. In reality, we'll more likely just talk about the dice a bit, and then we go back in the fiction. Right, everyone roll. Good luck. I think player 3 needs an extra dice. No, you don't ignore me. I can't count. Right. Well, that ain't great rolling from anyone. So, just to go from the total, let's start with let's talk with T's. Gets a total of 9. Yeah.
Yup.
K gets a total of 5, which is worst, I think. And Jim gets sort of 11, which matches, therefore, is best. So 2 of you suffer, and 2 of you, and Jim is best, both is best and things. So Jim will get 11 glory. Aurelian and Solaris get 1 glory, and they also suffer an extra pain. I should have mentioned, if you lose a challenge, you also take a pain. Yeah. And the way we narrate is, I'll reset the scene. Then Aurelian will start. Yeah, so then Aurelian will narrate. Then Salandris will narrate. and then Jim's character will narrate. I will jump in the middle to kind of health patch things together and make things more chaotic and stuff. Does everyone get that? And Jim at the end is encouraged to kill the War Master. Or rather, do whatever you want to the War Master, but you absolutely have the authority to kill him. Let's do the plot. Okay, I'll reset the scene. We cut back in again. It's like chaos. The chaos players unleash chaos here. The Legion or the War Master is firing everywhere, not caring who they kill as long as they kill. Kind of like a platform, a beautiful barge, gold encrusted, is hit by a rocket launcher and crashes down into a choir, no longer singing the Emperor's praises. They're trying to kill as many as possible. Aurelian, like what happens now?
Yeah, so I think almost what I said this bit before is we see Aurelian is clapping at first, like this is just a spectacle, like this is perfect, this is of course the golden child takes down the father and usurps him, and there is just delight and warmth radiating off of Aurelian. They're clapping until suddenly like they feel just like a slice, and we see their hand come to their face as they realize they are bleeding their own blood. They've been hit. They are not just observing this. This is not just their pleasure. Like, oh, shnikes, you're actually vulnerable in this moment. And I think he looks around and realizes that with the way this is set, he is not in a good position, and turns as if he's looking to maybe just get out or reassess or something, and just takes a fist to the face. Just gets absolutely smashed, and sort of tumbles ass over tea kettle, because this was an embarrassing loss. And we look up, and it's War Master who has hit him.
Perfect. The War Master. This is not a galaxy for poets, they say,
Yeah.
And they're marching towards you. Going, what weapons does he have? I think just enormous fists. Fists, which also, and blades pop out from all directions. And like, there's nothing subtle about the War Master. He's called the War Master, and he marches towards cackling as his feet moving in step to the heavy explosions around him. At which point, what does Salandris do?
Salandris is furious. This is going to put Salandris's plans on the back burner, and everything that Salandris has been working towards. Roars, incandescent heat, light begins to run forwards. The blinding suns at Salandris's back, and every step is sinking, burning into the metal, and launches at the War Master, who, I think we established that the War Master is tall. We didn't establish that, like the Emperor, they are hot. So perhaps there is.
War Master's not hot. Yeah.
What a pity. Imagine not being hot.
Smash.
Yeah. And I think it's like, ants or bees mobbing a wasp, right? We see the blinding suns piling on. I think because there was a bond with the Blade Guild in there, we see also some of these, war dancers, the beautiful cavaliers, cutting edge of the army, joining this fray as well. And then, what's that? Salandris thought they would be on Salandris's side, but it appears that there's been a double cross, and the Blade Guild is cutting down the blinding suns with their tempered blades that can withstand the heat. And Salandris screams in fury, unable to control, the fire of themselves, and begins to sink through the melting floor, scrabbling for positioning that they are quickly losing.
Great. Slandros is like burning down. Aurelian is still being worked over by the War Master, whilst the Blade Guild are merging in amongst them. It all seems lost until
Zalilaz, who's just been, kind of there, like in his cowl the whole time, like hands together with the, like the fabric draped over like this, and, his hands come out like this. And, as they do, you can see there's like a staff, there's like this onyx black hilt there. And, and he does that thing where he kind of like shing, and he's holding what looks to be, like a black metallic staff. And he does a thing where he like spins it. And as he does, the scythe head kind of comes out of it, and it's like thrumming, like it's vibrating. He can't hold on to it because the Thanatos staff is powered by death.
Mm-hmm.
And the War Master's mistake is he just killed the most powerful being in the universe while I was holding it. And the necro energy generated by the Emperor's death is like just thrumming through it. And Zalilaz, just with a flick of his eyes, notes that Salandros has, like, there's some space between Salandros and the War Master, so what he's about to do will not also envelop Salandros, and just kind of spins, and just with this very casual motion, almost like it's like a whirling dervish, like a dance, he just flicks the scythe in the direction of his ship, and it cleaves through the side of the, like it just makes this rend, exposing everything to space. People are starting to scream and get pulled into vacuum and everything. And there's like this wave that just like hits his ship full in the face, and the eyes, light comes out of them, bathes the whole scene in the kind of, that sort of radiant light of the Emperor. And the ship, which has just kind of been hanging in space like this, one of those arms starts to move, and the gigantic fist, like it's so big that it looks like it's moving slowly, but of course it's not. It's like this is like orbital mechanics type of stuff, and it just reaches through that rent, and as the fingers close around the War Master, he doesn't look so big anymore. And he, like he's laughing the whole time as the hand starts to close, and like somehow, and like psychically, we all hear, "I love you," as the fist closes around him. And, and like half the psychics on the station are going to go insane from that. Yeah. And, and it just like crushes him in its grip. And like with a last flicker, the fist pulls back and just kind of opens, and his dead, lifeless, smashed body is just now kind of goes into an orbit around the station here as the eyes of my ship go dead again.
Brilliant. It's like suddenly everything sort of collapses, like with the War Master gone. The battle is quickly lost. But Zalazax, what made you realize that this isn't the War Master? It's just one of his clones he sent here to die.
The fact that when it's killed, the staff just kind of like sputters and dies. Like, because if it had been the actual War Master, it would have gotten another jolt, but it just kind of like, and and that's why the eyes of the ship go dead. Perfect.
As I will cut over to the far, far, far away on the other side of the galaxy, the War Master sitting in a darkened room and just feeling the psychic contact break. There's a small grunt, and he says, "Stage 1 complete. We must proceed." At which point we hard cut. We have the TV series here. We'll have the credits, lots of explosions, hard cuts from all the actors. And the next time we pick up, it's shortly afterwards, and we're about to have a meeting. I would say everyone look at the board. Jim, you get to do the first thing, which is one of my favorite things in this whole system. So if you beat this challenge, you're allowed to flip the card and see what happens, or see what happens.
Oh, sweet. Which card?
The one in the middle, the War Master Assassination.
Oh, here we go. All right. Okay, cool. Boom. Imperial Adjutant. Individual asset.
This is delivered to you because you were the person who avenged the Emperor in this way. This is the Emperor's personal servant. What is it about this adjutant that makes that you instantly know that it was served the Emperor for its entire existence?
Oh man. Oh, it smells like he does.
Yeah.
Like it's just been around him so much that, even though it's entirely like I kind of like the idea that it's some kind of like cyborg or robot or something like that. It just has that kind of grave stench that he has because it's just permeated every pore of this thing. Yeah.
Of course, that's actually how you smell as well. Of course, that both you and the robot and Daddy all
like
stink of death.
Yeah, slightly differently though. Like if you have the if you have the palate for it, you can tell what the difference is.
Yeah, he's
got a little metal tang to his. Yeah,
brilliant. What we do now is let me just scroll down. What we're doing is now starting the first season. We'll probably do the introduction of the season and maybe the first couple of missions, and then probably wrap then, because we're on till 1/2 the hour, aren't we? Rather than the hour. Yeah. Right. What we do now is all three of you meeting to discuss what happens next. Jim, you will currently have the Imperial Adjutant. That means you get to frame the scene and where the meeting is. Something else happens. The fact the Imperial Adjutant, which is an asset, has entered your control, means it refreshes. Refresh means you get a bond to it. Anytime a card enters your possession, it refreshes, so you get a bond.
So am I going to want to put one of my green tokens on it? There we go.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Done and done. Cool. And
when you spend that bond, you can add a d6. Assets differ, however. Like if it is fictionally framed as especially useful, it can increase the dice size to either d8 or even d10. So it's like adjutant. If it was like something like if it's like some kind of protocol scene, you might say, oh no, that's a d8 asset. Or like if it's something specifically about what was it like to live with the Emperor, it might be d10. So like the fictional framing of the assets means it's not just spending board game pieces.
Yeah.
Okay. Since you're the person who is most glorious as Zalazaz, where do you choose to meet your Scions?
I think this has got to be some kind of neutral ground. So what is the? Oh, you know what? It's the neutral faction. Well, not neutral faction, but the faction that's not one of ours is the Terran Lords, right?
Yeah. The parliamentary system is where they're based. Which is literally a system that's a parliament.
Oh, okay. So then, neutral ground is what we call the universal clock.
Nice.
Which is the it's a clock the size of a solar system that is used to keep standard time for the entire empire.
Nice.
And we meet on in the works where they they scurry around to maintain all the gears and stuff that keep it running in perfect synchronization.
I guess they've got the parliamentary system. It's almost the next system over. Is this they just use it for their timepiece?
Yeah, well you can because you can look out from from the parliamentary buildings. You can look out and in the sky you can see what time it is because that whole solar system is keeping time for the whole.
Honestly,
empire.
This is exactly the Terran Lord's energies, I've got to admit. Okay, we've got the meeting there. We've got this building. I would say, what food does Zalazaz serve to your peers?
I let the Terran Lords take care of that because I don't really. I only part of the thing of our church is we only eat things that have no life of any kind left in them, and most people don't enjoy that. So,
okay, Aurelian, let's just jump. It's Aurelian, how are you feeling right now? And also, you've been fed incredibly sumptuous food, which is possibly a little bit too rich. What do you make of all this?
I think Aurelian's a little pouty. I think he got knocked off. He's got a little like a scar now on his cheek, just under his eye from that first cut, and he's standing on the back of the tip of the hour hand, and is kind of lording above. But perhaps we do see like this slight sway as he's been given all this sumptuous food and wine, and maybe being like on a singular point might not be the greatest idea when you've been plied with tons of alcohol and rich food, but he's handling it.
That's what we're doing. And what about what about the other character?
Salandris, yeah.
Yes, Salandris.
I can't imagine they let Salandris walk around. And I think the Terran Lords have insisted that Salandris is in like some, we were talking about 80s dude, some sort of hovering chair, and you can feel Salandris's nervous and not nervous, contained energy. Salandris seems peeved.
I guess I think almost I'll start the scene with this happening with and the adjutant is walking in and that kind of Salandris, what honorific shall I refer to you?
I suppose Scion, if you must have something. Salandris is fine.
Perhaps the recumbent.
Ooh. Salandris's face turns to yours, but they say nothing.
Yeah. There's a kind of, the adjutant has the look of like, I think that would be a poor idea, but he's not going to say it because the adjutant knows better. It's like the adjutant has the look of somebody who has dealt with the concept of we can't fight in the wardroom for quite some time. It's like I've been talking to the Lords. We have a variety of like anti-gravity shoes of various forms of heels, which you can perhaps look upon anon. But right now we unfortunately have the very sad business of the death of my former master. The Lords of Terror have been ordered, and they've realized the situation has a simple solution. The situation is, in this liminal period, we'll just examine each of the Scions, and those who have proved themselves most worthy of the position will be the new Emperor. For what the Emperor is nothing but meritocratic, says the people who are very rich. Does that make sense? Do you have any further questions? My Scions?
If it's merely a matter of choosing the best, I don't see why we need to waste our time.
I know your prowess in spending so much time off abroad. There are many categories that actually go into maintaining something, not just riveting here or there from place to place.
How's your face, Aurelius?
I don't know. How's... Well, honestly, it's better than yours, but that's just a given, always. I consider more... I don't know, this just seems beneath you. Are you really there, Sully? Are you just lobbing little, like, how's your face? Is that what you've become now?
If you can't think of a comeback, you can just stay silent.
What is the criteria for your choice?
Glory, I believe. It is not, of course, not my choice. I can actually consult with the Lords of Terror and get a further breakdown. They're very interesting statistics. At the moment, however, I would see that the choice is. I'll show you the graph, and the droid clicks up a graph, and a holographic graph appears, and it's like 3 columns. There is Salandris and Aurelian, which has one tiny dit on each of them, and Zalazax, which is a very high bar. This, of course, is the present readings. This is why it's important to continue. At the moment, the killed the War Master thing appears to be high in their minds, but I'm sure there's other attributes which are important in being an emperor. But that's what I understand anyway.
Your demurral notwithstanding, the fact that you are our interlocutor with the Lords of Terra means that some portion of the choice does indeed lie in your hands.
I apologize. I am merely your servant. Or whichever amongst you the Lords of Terror decides is most glorious.
For now.
Yeah, he sort of shrugs. This is kind of like a slightly smugger 3PO is kind of the energy that the adjutant gives out. as he stinks of death and he moves in circles slowly.
If you are my servant, then see to the repair of my ship. It was damaged in the recent attack by the War Master.
It would be an incredible honor to work upon a dead god.
Then do so.
Shall I give the briefing upon the situation of the world, or shall I immediately set above? There's certain small events which are important.
If you can be succinct, do so. Then see to your duties.
I will try my hardest. Right, this is the next bit. We draw at the start of any season. We're in basically the first part of the season. We draw the top 3 cards from, we go up to 3 cards in the mission area. These are the 3 things that's going on, which will now get frictionally positioned by the adjutant who gives the briefing. You may notice you see what the next card is on the top of the draw deck. It's okay, you're all slightly psionic. That is literally my in-game mechanic for this. The adjutant speaks, and he speaks slightly quicker. Like, imagine like on a podcast on 125%. Like, he sort of set himself so he's aware that he's prying their thing. Firstly, probably the most temporary challenge. There is a large ship has transported out of the. Of course, we're entering a period of like enormous amounts of lost shipping. Occasionally, some of them re-enter after being lost for a period of time. Whoop! Don't click any card. Where was I?
A ship came out of the interstitial.
So, this is there believes to be a signal coming from aboard this space hawk, if you will, and it's and we have been asked to investigate it. Meanwhile, there's also the solar fleet on the long distance. The long distance probes have actually found a distant signal, which requires exploration and possibly reaching deep space. And of course, there is the small matter of Orcish raiders, Space Hawk pirates, destroying several systems. They are specifically, their particular habits are frustrating the faith. They are kidnapping people and merely like doing unforeseen awful things to them and not simply murdering them. This appears to be against all the laws of their religion, so that's something they find desperately upsetting. All these events are progressing, and of course you can decide upon yourself what is the best way to approach them all. I now must immediately go and start trying to paste together a dead flying space god. If you'll excuse me, I will return shortly as your decision will be made. He toodles off at a high pace. To step outside the fictional wrapping, these are the 3 cards. The Space Hawk is a discard one, which means that if you don't go and do anything about it this season, it's just discarded. Like, so this is your one chance to go and check the Space Hawk. The Signal is an automatic card, which that actually means it's very easy to do. As in, even if you fail, you flip it, but there's other penalties. But there's also it's not a discard card, which means it'll stay around. If you don't do it this turn, it'll stay till next turn. And the Orc Raid is 2 things. It is a flip card and a strategic threat card. That means it's if you don't do anything about it, as in go and stop those orcs, there is a threat payoff. The threat payoff is, for a standard threat payoff, is basically me as the Chaos player gains 2 bonds with the faction I just described being targeted. So in other words, 2 Chaos bonds join the faction, which means the faith, which means the faith is just pissed off. So essentially, it's equivalent of ticking 2 bits of the faction clock of faith pissed off may rebel. And that's basically the way off. There's a thing that actually I'll probably add I won't jump on yet, but I'll probably jump on when people select the missions, which is kind of, I give submissions as well. So as well as doing the main task, you get the faction saying, hey, while you're at it, could you do this thing? So that's kind of how you gain experience in the game and more kind of things. And that's about it. What would happen now is that you would just basically go in character and debate which ones you want to do. You can split up. You can do your own individual missions. You both go for the same one. And then we play out their challenges and we go through it. There's kind of, I may not do it because time is pressing, but the way I often, there's supporting cast play. So if one person goes and the other ones don't go there, they often play supporting cast in your kind of unit. So there's people on knocked out the story, and there's a lot of like bringing people into play bit parts. And you, after you debate in character, you then declare in ascending glory value. Descending glory value. So the person who is highest glory has to say where they're going first, then the second lowest, and then the lowest. Yes, that does mean the people with lower glory value can change what they said they're doing. In this case, since two of you have one, I would normally make you roll off, but I'm not sure I can be bothered. If I can I'll just go left to right. Is that fine?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, cool. If it was actually important, I'd make us roll off. There is actually one other thing.
Yes, they're largely interchangeable, so it doesn't matter which of them expresses their preference.
The War Master is now in play. In the Chaos, he's now there's the War Master card. You got to target him. He will he gains bond. If he gains bonds, which is ways of doing it, he can spend those bonds on any challenge and help fuck you up by getting in behind the scene. Since there's only 3 of you, he doesn't start with any bonds, which is good for you. And the other thing, all of you gain a bond with the War Master now. So take I'll give you a black symbol and put it on you. There you go. And you can spend that bond like you would any other bond with an ally, because you all knew him. That's interesting. It's funny, like I'll come at this afterwards. You don't need to know this, but yeah, that is now the War Master. When the War Master will enter play when any of you reach name dice 8. So, whereas when you're actually as famous, whenever you become as famous as he is, he gets pissed off and actually comes at you.
That's fun.
Yeah, basically in this Ashcan, he's the only rival really in the Ashcan. But like the way I want to do is have different rivals which have different things, and after you defeat the War Master, then he unlocks a D10 rival, and then you can build the campaign like that. So that's kind of how the game works. That's how we get a narrative structure. Okay, please. Now this is free. Normally these kind of bits between missions, this is when you get the most free-flowing bits of your characters meeting. So feel free to sort of debate where you're going to go. To get mechanically for what else. No, just go solve the problem. Have fun. The short version, the short version is the actual situation. If someone doesn't do something about the orc, this is the one fact they didn't say about the orc raid. It's also flip, which means that if you don't do anything about it, it always turns over automatically.
Yeah.
In the case of orcs, the thing about orcs is they mostly just go away. If you ignore orcs, it's fine. They'll disperse. They'll do their own thing. Occasionally, orcs don't go away, and they become a migration of orcs who gather together and try to conquer the galaxy. So that's the thing.
They are plants.
Yes,
they're an invasive plant species.
Yeah.
Their sentience is debated by scholars through the Empire. Most believe that they simply ape human intelligence.
The adjutant shouts from across the room, not the room, across the spaceship through a series of planes. Some believe they are something more like fungi than plants.
And I say a pedantic distinction at best.
I apologize, my lord. I'll be quiet in future.
Regardless of their provenance, their views are universally heretical, and they must be exterminated. And I look to Salandros, and I say, a task, the extermination of plants, for which you are eminently qualified.
And Salandros sort of smiles and says, and surely you are an expert on ships.
And I shrug, and I say, it is a hulk, which makes it a dead ship, and I am an expert on the dead.
Excellent. And Aurelian, has any Aurelian any strong feelings?
Yeah, Aurelian listens to them go back and forth with each other. That's all well and good, but isn't that kind of boring and predictable?
There's for an atavist such as yourself, Aurelian, I would imagine consorting with orcs would be the sort of thing that you would view with relish.
I think I want to go to the Hulk. I grew up around big things, and They and I curry favor well.
I doubt it will have an active commissary.
That's why I'll go there and make one. Nothing you can add to it.
Right.
Sigh.
Right. If it's like, we'll probably like, I would let things, this sort of varies, you can let things breathe. Since we've got half an hour left, I'm going to try to get through people's free challenges in a kind of like, just to give the taste of it.
Yeah, sure.
What a turn looks like. So I'll be cutting this a bit sharper, but normally like you want to have fun with this. What mission is Zalazar's going to go and do?
Orc raid.
Orc raid. Okay. What is Tia doing?
I'm gonna go check out that signal. It's far away.
That's great. Oh, you don't need to put a token on it. Like,
Oh, okay. You just can remember.
yeah. Actually, that's not a bad idea. There's a reason, not because tokens mean something. In this case, it doesn't matter because those tokens. Actually, do with that because there are situations where players put tokens on cards. But this isn't one of them, so you absolutely can do that.
Or I could put it above the card.
Yeah, that's good. Orc raid for Zalazar's, and finally,
Going for the Space Hulk.
hey, this is perfectly organised. Right. In this case, there's no strong narrative reading for anything to do in any order. Has anyone got anyone want to go first? I'd actually think which one's most fun. Let's do it about. Let's do the signal first. Let's do the basic space mission.
All right. Space mission.
Okay, the situation, you've got a signal out there. The solar fleet, so Admiral Raven has kind of given you the kind of heads up, and it says, Salandros, my dear friend, we have it. This is quite a way out. There's the main problem of the situation is it's something of a difficult, tricky battle. The whole place is a pirate. There's a space shark pirates infesting the tracks on the way there, and they'll be trying to predate you. You'll probably have to fight your way through. There is a kind of secondary thing that might be some import if you were interested in a initial side adventure. Their leader, we would like to capture them. If you can do, we'll be appreciative on the way. Of course, it's not necessary. Wiping out is good, but I'm sure the person, whoever they are, knows a lot. The way this works in fiction, though you can obviously role play with her as well, is that if you want to do a submission, there's normally a cost for it. In this case, it's adding an extra dice. So, like, the challenge is currently D6, D6, D6. If you want to, like, I'm going to add an extra D8 if you want to do the submission, which is, which will be, capturing whoever this pirate is.
And I think Salandros sort of nods in the middle of pacing and says, I don't want to be in the dark again. Information would be good.
Yeah. Okay, we'll set the scene then. Basically, we've got space, and we've got a guy called the Scarlet Contagion, who is this person, it's a pirate, who is bubbling at red. It's some kind of demonic infection and just bleeding constantly, and they're watching. Right, they're coming for us. Another one of these goddamn Scions. Let's cut them to pieces. And then suddenly your trip's travel is like ambushed by these pirates coming in, like a dozen guns blazing, as the Scarlet Contagion sits there, secure that they've outmaneuvered you. Who will face this challenge of war? Now, I do the roll, so basically you can always say no and leg it. So like that's the thing. So D6, D6, 3 D6s and a D8 because. Right, their total is, since it's the first year, it's only 10. So who will face this challenge of war?
Salandros will face this challenge of war.
Excellent. Do you want to help assembling your dice, or do you want to like? What I normally do is I say think carefully, and that gives all the players a chance to have a beat to think about what their dice pool might be. I will say one thing for your dice pool is, since you're doing
Yes.
a mission for them, that means you're going to gain. You would gain a faction bond with the Solar Fleet. In other words, since you kind of have a maximum of 2 bonds with the Solar Fleet,
Might as well spend it.
Yeah.
Uh,
there's other bonuses as well. I stress, so it's also worth doing. But it's like
Mhm.
I spend it. The tactically sound thing to do would be spend it.
I think so. War. I don't know why my name dice is a D6. It should be D8.
No, your name dice is D6.
Yeah, it says D8 in the sheet. I'll
Oh,
fix
yeah.
that later.
Sorry.
That's okay. Name legend, D8 because war is the domain that Slanders has a D8 in. And I think cunning. So I'll take a pain for that. And then, of course, the Solar Fleet one. I'm just not going to drag it on. Is that still a D4
I would
for
drag
this?
it off. It's a D4. I would drag it off in case, because you might not win, is the thing.
Okay. Oh, yes. That makes sense. Yeah. Boop. It'd be nice if it did, though.
It should win. Like, mathematically speaking, I say it's a game at rolling 2 5s. And we've got the D4, it's like rolling 2 8s. 2 4s, rather. Good luck.
All right. 1d4. And then I said 3d6?
1d8, 3d6.
Here. And the d4. Roll. Yes, so that is 14.
Yep. That's fantastic. That's 14 is definitely over 10. So you take 10 glory. Write your notes 1 XP, because I've realised this version of the actual character sheet doesn't have the XP track on yet, because I'll cut that pace over. And also you get 1 extra bond with the faction.
All right, I'll drag that right back.
Cool. And now we narrate. So I've set the scene. We've got the you're travelling to this distant signal, and suddenly the Scarlet Contagion are upon you. These kind of ships painted bright red, dripping it can't be blood in space, it would freeze, but somehow this red fluid floats down there, and they fire torpedo after you, steaming sure they can take you. What happens then?
Yeah. Well, I think that we see them mid barrage at this ship that is in front of them that looks like the flagship of Solandris until it begins to break apart, and it is only then that the actual flagship of Solandris zoops behind them and comes to an immediate still stop because Solandris, immediately after warping in, gets out of the warp chamber and the ship has no more propulsion. And we see, we're very far away, we see this glint of light leaping through space from the hull towards this red dripping ship flanked by a legion of suns. And as it approaches, this blood that cannot be blood begins to bubble and smolder and steam and crust. And Solandris punches through the hull as if it were like a puffball mushroom on like the 4th or 5th day, just real very easy. And I think we see just a cut to the Crimson Contagion, the Scarlet Contagion, being held in some sort of appropriately ornate space holding cell with just like the mark of a burning red hand around their throat.
You bastards, they howl. And we hard cut to you like, you're traveling across space and they're kind of mission complete in this way. And you're approaching the distant signal. Do you want to see what's out there? You can flip the card.
Oh, yeah. An
afterworld. You realize that the approach to the planet, what actually it is, it's a long lost, when the Empire fell, they lost it. Verdus 2 is the most productive planet in the entire galaxy. It can feed 100 worlds its size. as you land, as you're sort of approaching it, you can see fields of wheat, the size of fields of wheat the size of continents. In that way, just endless in this way. As you get into kind of message suddenly click in as an AI things in, and it looks like if I describe it, it's like a 19th century laird of a land, like a gentleman farmer, but like Star Wars hollow flicker on him, and he sort of says, "Oh, you found us then."
We have.
Oh,
Welcome back to the Empire.
Oh, we got a lot of stuff for you.
Solaris grins. Nope, Landris grins.
And it goes, what is the delicacy which the Verdus 2 was known for, which has not been eaten for like ever since it was lost?
Oh, I think there's like kind of like what's the corn smut? It's part of Mexican cuisine. There's like a fungus that requires. Yeah. It's like that, but on wheat, right? This sort of delicious, buttery, melting kind of fungus that is also incredibly rich in protein and makes wonderful rations if you are a sufficiently highly placed officer, of course.
Of course. I was saying, hard cut to you being on the planet. Like, there's an enormous crop circus being cleared for you to be, and like obviously the wheat's on fire. Because various people have to run around behind you, and this holographic AI laird is sort of saying, and it's offering you this stuff that's not been eaten for 100 years, and because we realize robots have just been running this planet, so it's just robot planet. And finally, you were going to be the first human lips to taste this for 100 years at least, and we'll be honored if you eat it, my lord.
And Salandris does, and it carbonizes instantly. But Salandris seems to enjoy it.
He says, "I understand it tastes best toasted too." and as you sip that, you kind of look up and see a cow the size of a skyscraper walking past with enormous, beautiful brown eyes. And you realize you are now the Lord of Verdus 2. So that's now an asset for you. So move that into your region, and since it's just an asset that's entered your area, you add a token to it.
Wow, what a coincidence. I have one.
Yeah. And I think we cut from, since we're talking about fungus, we cut from this very delicious fungus to the murderous fungus that is a space orc.
I'd just like a quick timeout, if we could, just for a moment.
Oh, sorry.
Cool with the big skyscraper-sized cow walking by? Just, like, as we go forward, I'd like to avoid any images of, like, processing those animals or any of that kind of stuff. Okay, cool.
All right, cool. That's cool. That's absolutely
you.
great.
Yeah,
like maybe is milk okay?
Milk's fine. Yeah, dairy cows.
I think these are just these are dairy cows.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Dairy cow the size of a like a gas tank. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I just love the yeah, absolutely. I wasn't going to go there, but I think it's a really good note actually. Got it. Yeah. Okay, we hard cut from the delicious burnt fungus to the murderous fungus with a flamethrower. Of these, they've just raided. What kind of? I've got my list of planets yet, but the I reckon they've come to raid the alien. The world where Salandris got in beneath their kind of head, the alien world where they basically won the war against the aliens, and there was the big party. These orcs come sweeping down and are just grabbing people, then zooming into the sky. Let's say, I think the trick is actually finding them, because they kind of they had no idea where these riders were going to hit next. But of course, it's entirely possible that someone managed to work it out. Who will face this challenge of cunning?
I will face this challenge of cunning. Izalalaz, the Chosex, will face this challenge of cunning.
Excellent. We can assemble the dice pool.
Yeah. All right. So I've got my name.
Yep. Oh, actually, you'd have to do this until I roll. In fact.
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is, by the way, everyone catches. I do this all. This is my big problem with the Paragon. Not my big mistake I make constantly is that I forget to roll my dice pool.
Yeah.
And you don't need to spend your resources until you know what you got.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Because if you if you roll a 16, I may just tap out. Before I So yeah.
It's D6, D6, D8. It's worth noting it's D8 dangerous. Dangerous means that you don't suffer pain if you lose. You suffer corruption if you lose.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. That's something I've sort of lifted from Deathmatch Island.
Yeah.
D6, D6, D8.
Oh,
6,
shit.
10.
Oh, that's a 1. I thought it was a 7. Okay. All right. 10? Yeah,
10.
I could take that.
10 is 2 5s. That's what it's like. That's
I thought you got a 6. 6 plus 4, right? Okay,
yeah.
yes.
Okay. In the first year it's 4.
It's
and
plus
then
4
after
still.
you start at an easy level basically.
Yeah, so I think I can take that. So I've got what do I got? I got I cleared it out. I got a D6 for my name. I've got a D6 for my Faustian legend. I've got a D8 because I'm cunning. Do I want to tick another pain?
I haven't said that when pain resets at the end of every year. So basically the pain is the regenerating bit, corruption.
There we go. I'll definitely tick a pain to this feels like war.
Yeah.
Of course, this means war. So I will I'll put in for war. And I'm gonna bring my Imperial Adjutant into play.
Ooh.
As well. So
is that a D6 or do you reckon it's any chance of being higher in the narration?
So how do I what we need to do is flush them out, and he is going to be the face of, hey, orcs, come see this. He's like my interlocutor between the orcs and me. Yeah.
In passing, this is one of the interesting bits of tension that you're not meant to narrate beforehand, but for this you have to. Like there's a tension there, but I'm actually okay with it. I think you give that a D8. That's a fun use of the adjutant.
Fantastic. All right. Cool. So I moved the token off of him and back into my general pool, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna give myself a D8. And I think the other thing I'd like to do is use my I am gonna use my I'm using the resources of my faithful here, so I'm going to use a faith.
Cool. That definitely pushes. That's a very strong dice pool for this challenge.
Yeah, and so because that's a faction, that's a D4, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We got that. So let me roll this up. What do we got? Oh, I like the look of 14 plus 4.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's definitely you get the sort. Oh no, you get what the. Oh, by the way, did I say add 10 glory? By the way, to Solaris.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh yeah, cool. Great. Well, you also, Jim, you get 10 glory. But let's just go into the narration first. Okay, the orcs are escaping from the. Okay, the orcs are escaping to the planet, having been attracted to it by this strangely, this very posh adjutant. So we know this is good stuff. Yeah, they're sweeping in, picking people up. Then what happens?
What happens is we see my ship is like, somewhere outside the Orc cloud of this, this system's planet. And there are, like exo-suited cultists of mine swarming all over it, painting it green, right? And, like doing like a slash of red paint down one side of its, like, this kind of, hundreds of feet wide slash of red paint down one side of its face. And like in there with like, we see like acetylene torches and stuff, like making its teeth look sharp as they, grind out hunks of, these massive hunks of ancient ivory and stuff like this. And, we see there's like this ball of fire as it's dropping down through orbit, and the like the friction of the atmosphere, and just with a like continent shaking kaboom, it lands in the middle of like a plane somewhere, like some blasted barren plain. And so there's a there's a giant like effigy of their god Grumpsh, like multiple skyscrapers tall, standing there, and and the adjutant goes out and says, basically, if you have the stones, come and kneel before, Grumpsh, who is a long lost son, who himself is a long lost son of our emperor. So I'm pulling a whole Rome co-opting the local religion thing.
That's great. As in, they all come there. Like, what do you do? How do you take them aboard, or do you finish them off, or like what do you do to them?
Oh, we baptize them, all of them, in the name of the emperor.
Brilliant. Now we've got some orc. This great orc believers now in the empire. Fantastic. Okay, the way this would normally work is that you wouldn't flip. In the case of a flip card, you normally don't flip it if you win, because you don't want to flip it. In this case, just to explain the mechanic, flip it. Right. So that case, it's like, that's fine. That's not a bad orc card, but by implication, there are bad orc cards.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't give you a mission there for various parts to show this mechanic. Since since you were protecting someone being targeted, I actually as GM, I kind of get the I'm allowed to say you give rewards appropriately from stuff.
Yeah,
so since the faith are already going to be attacked, I think you're going to get a bond with the. I'm going to give you a faction bond with the faith just because you protected them.
Cool.
So
I'll get back that one I spent. That feels totally reasonable to me. Yeah.
In fact, that and also you've brought people aboard. This is great. So it's a bit like whilst you get. I'm highlighting this just in terms of like this is GMing stuff versus this is mechanic stuff, as in what is sensible we do. So we throw the orcs to the discard pile, which is up here, and we quickly will zoom through the Space Hulk mission.
And do I get the amount of glory I rolled, or I get 10 because it's set for?
You get you get the amount you beat. So it's whatever I rolled.
You rolled a 10, I rolled an 18.
Yes, so you get 10.
Okay. Oh, I get what you rolled. Got it.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
It's like that's the kind of the difficulty of the challenge is what you get really.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And finally, we're going to have to burn through this one. Does everyone have a hard out at half past?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I need to make I've got to eat quite shortly afterwards, so I've got a not hard out, but I just want to. It won't be that long afterwards.
We saw you get nudged there a couple minutes ago. So, yeah,
that means Chrissy is cooking or doing something. That's why Iris wandered in, and I'm gonna have to download all this, then edit it so Iris's face isn't in it. But she was cute. Anyway, she's I'm right. Where am I?
Space
Space Hulk.
Yeah, busted a move through the Space Hulk. Yeah.
Hard cut to Aurelian Rex's enormous palatial Grecian flying ship approaching the Space Hulk. And the Space Hulk is big and weird. It's very different. In the same way, your beauty, it looks like a kind of like a Hieronymus Bosch painting. Like the laws of physics have ceased to apply. It's got multiple angles stretching inwards. The whole thing is deeply warped with unnatural energy. You kind of realize that it's like that's going to be the real challenge. Like even traversing this is going to require cutting edge magical rituals, sonic protection, and there's this signal inside. You've no idea what it is. So that's the kind of that's the challenge that faces you. However, you do receive a message from the I forgot the name, the Anchorite. And the Anchorite gives you the low sort of rumble from their base. This is not. We believe these things are not worth it actually investigating. These are the old. There's a reason why these things were lost, and we must, and what is inside must be rested as dead. If that's a lost ship, they are dead. It is far better for you to simply blow up this ship and not explore it at all. But you, of course, will do what you think best. And then I have important business. There's a duel going on, and the faith cut away. Okay, what's that? That's a different kind of submission. This submission explicitly just don't do the mission.
So wait, so this is you said is it the faith? Because you said before you said the Anchorage, which I thought was the Blade.
No, the Anchorage. Yeah, I've got them wrong around, haven't I? I meant the Anchorage, so the Blade Guild. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I will get this nailed down because I'm also running my prep back to front.
Oh, good. No,
the Anchorite especially. So in other words, this going just don't do the mission, and you'll complete the mission. So don't do the mission, you'll complete the submission. So that will get you an XP and a faction bond with the Blade Guild. but at the expense of not exploring the Space Hulk, not getting the glory, and similar stuff. So that's just like I'm doing that mainly as an example of the sort of thing that can happen.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what do you think?
I think Aurelian is short-sighted, but also they know they're behind. I think, yeah, no, and also in reference of time, I think it'd be funny. Yeah, I think they're not gonna. Well, because then I already have 2 bonds, so I can't. Yeah, no, he's gonna do it.
As in, go in.
Yeah, he's gonna go in. That's all well and good, Blade Guild, but I need points.
Yeah, this is not exactly glorious, blowing it as a distance.
Yeah, just being like, yeah.
Yeah, Aurelian. Cool. In which case, the way this operates, who will face this challenge of unnatural? Let me just roll the dice. It's a simple. It is D6, D6, D8. It's also D8 dangerous because it's frankly really disturbing in there. Ooh, big one. 12. It's not that bad. 12 is doable, but hard. It's 12 is doable with a faction bond, basically. 12. Yeah. Who will face this challenge of unnatural?
Yeah, so we have name Aurelian Rex, the smooth legend. My domain happens to be unnatural. So we've got 2d6, d8. And I think Aurelian wants to show the guild that they're wrong. It's actually important that they do this. So I will add a d4 and spend one of my Blade Guild. Pull that back to get the d4. And then I think I'm also going to spend a point of pain to bring... I'm going to bring, I think, rhetoric in. We don't need to just resort to violence. That's so gauche.
That's fun.
Yeah. All right. So 3d6, 1d8, and a d4.
Yeah. The Blade Guild's motivation is because they want the more beautiful universe. That's the vibe, isn't it? Yeah. I'm just trying to make sure I've got everything nailed down in terms of my characterization and motivation for them. Cool. Fantastic.
Yeah. All right.
So pain. So you spend a pain, and the rest is good. Cool.
14.
Sweet. That's more than enough. Okay, let's narrate it. This entire ship is alive with awful eldritch energy. Half demons peer out. We see a sort of rock approach too closely before the rock hits and then starts fragmenting, exploding in all directions as reality collapses. How can anyone possibly traverse this impossible abomination?
Aurelian, as if it's not even an issue, we watch as he unwinds some of the silk he dresses himself with and just simply throws it out into the space, making something of form take matter there as he walks along this silken, gauzy path, almost as if he's walking amongst the nothingness, but there's just enough there for him to get purchase on. And he reaches a hand out, and with absolutely no fear, certainly no disgust. In fact, if anything, there's a smile lilting his features as he tips a finger under this demonic chin and says, "Others may not see it, but I see the beauty all around you. Others should get the chance. And if their feeble minds can't understand your beauty and they perish, that is their fault, not yours." As he just brings all of these demons in.
That's great.
Croons to them, yeah.
Okay, wreathed by demons, you make your way through the ship, the reality becoming more humble and prostrate before you. And eventually you find a central chamber sealed with rituals, protect from the hell around it. You can open the seals and enter if you wish.
Oh, of course.
Flip the Space Hulk token.
Rogue Trader.
It's meant to, Road Explorer is the card I should actually rewrite that to. So like on the floor, you've got somebody complicated, looking both old and young simultaneously, and looks up you with wide eyes, as not quite believing you exist or not. Please do not be another phantasm. Like, or, you know, are you real? Are you of the mortal flesh?
Oh, I am of a greater thing than mortal flesh. Come here, my child.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, good. Honestly, if you were a phantasm, you were here to torment me, I would not like that at all. Trust me, it's not fun. So, as you look into their eyes, how do you know this person has seen things no other human has ever seen?
I think their eyes are dead, just like the ship that Zalazaz.
Amazing, like just dead eyes. Like literally, it's like kind of like the unfleshing of it, and that kind of. Oh great and noble saviour, you have found me lost betwixt seconds. There's so much I can share. There's so much I can share with you. I wanted to explore, and my God, I have.
And we see there is such a size difference as Aurelian puts a hand out and just scoops, almost like they were picking up, a baby bird. I'm going to paint the world in all the images you've seen.
Well, I don't think that'll take quite a while. And just actually breathing heavily, and it's this kind of like this, like there's a sort of confusing to the person, and it starts to cry, and he's speaking but crying simultaneously, as in the tears are just coming out the eye, the dead eyes. But he the voice is quite normal. When I lost track of my ship and found myself here, everything I've learned is aboard my ship. I must find myself there. You can't take me. Please, you found me, but please, you must let me go, and I will be so much more used to you when I return.
Bring me back. Oh,
sorry, finish. Yeah, you say that if you wish.
Bring me back something beautiful in your flight, and I think we watch as he kind of like throws them up in the air a bit, like as if like go, baby bird.
And it scrambles. It's like they're kind of like scrambling, like someone like librarian who's kind of librarian meets Lovecraftian librarian meets science fiction figure. There is kind of one thing you think as you go away, because you could still stop them. As in, there's definitely people who would want the Rogue Trader. Like if you just gave the Rogue Trader to the Blade Guild, they might be interested. So this is kind of this is one of those choices bits. So you could, for example, just hand them in now, and you'll get a faction bond, or you can let the Rogue Trader go, and what they'll do is they'll come back and they'll be an asset for you. Like,
I'll let them go.
Okay, this is useful because it also allows me to explain the other mechanic in the game. This is the undefeated. Anything that's undefeated, and most of the undefeated normally means bad. At the start of every turn, they gain a chaos bond, and you roll the dice. If it's beneath the number of chaos bonds, they come back. One bond that's every turn, unless someone do something about it. One bond's every turn. So in other words, he will be gone for a number of turns, possibly none if you roll one immediately. Of course, that's kind of like just wait for Christmas for this guy. If it's, for example, you have failed to defeat the alien biofleet, now the biofleet is slowly coming back to your solar system. That's a very different kind of problem. But yeah, this is an example of a timer of a future threat.
Okay.
And I think that's is there sort of a final poetic line you would say as this Rogue Trader heads off to try to get that ship?
Yeah, I think we see leaning back against this space hulk, almost as if it was a grand chase. He rumbles in his chest in the same resonance as the anchorage. See what can be done if one dares to dream. Yes, we have lost old arts, but there are new to come. We must believe more.
And I think actually, as the visual, the beautiful narration happens, we sort of go over and we see the chunks of the Emperor in orbit around Terra. Dare to dream indeed. And then we cut to black and the end of the episode. Thank you for playing Scions.
Woo.